Pick a side. Micah chapter 7, verse 5 and 6. Trust ye not in a friend. Put ye not confidence in a guide. When he's talking about trust not in a friend, he's saying you need to put your faith in Yah, not in your friends or neighbors or companions. When he says put ye not confidence in a guide, that word guide right there also refers to captains or dukes. Look at where duke originates from. Do your research. Put your confidence not in the leaders, especially the ones that are not in Torah and they're not obeying the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. Look at this, verse 6. For the son dishonoreth the father, and the daughter riseth up against her mother. The daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house. See, we thought that this quote originated in the New Testament when the Messiah said it, but he was pulling from the prophets. Messiah pulled from the law and the prophets in the Psalms. Micah was drawing a line here, and he was letting them know that there is a line in the sand. And the Messiah expounds on this line in the sand. And we're going to look at him talk about the same topic. And the Messiah is saying to us, pick a side, draw the line. Be on Yah's side, keep his commandments, obey his Torah, his instructions, or be on the other side. Let's take a look at Matthew chapter 10, verse 32. Take a look at what the Messiah says. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man, here he's going to pick up what Micah was talking about. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. See that? Same language that Micah used. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. If you do your research and when it says taketh not his cross and followeth after me, the term taketh not his cross or take up your cross and follow him, that means to take a stand. People don't want to take a stand for the truth which is in the Torah, the instructions of Yahweh. So when you take a stand, when you follow the Messiah, you will lose your life, but you'll find it. But if you want to save it, you're going to lose it, because you're risking everything by trying to save your own life, so you lose it. That's what he's talking about. Let's look at this take a stand in action. Exodus chapter 32. We're going to read through chapter 32 and get an understanding here and cover parts of this chapter, and we'll see how Moses challenged the children of Yashara'al. He challenged the children of Israel to take a stand for the truth. Exodus chapter 32, Let's look at a few verses. Set the background. Moses went up to talk to Yah. He's getting the commandments written down, and he's going to come back down. And the people felt like Moses was taking too long. So then they start doing some things they shouldn't have done. And one of them is they got into idolatry, which is a violation of the commandments. Let's look at it. Exodus 32, verse 1. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. They're like, we don't know what happened to him. We don't know what's become of him. They got impatient. Look at verse 2. And Aaron, which was one of their leaders, and Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, of your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he made it a molten calf. And they said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. You see that? And then he takes it further and look at verse 5. And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made proclamation and said, Tomorrow is a feast to Yahweh. And they rose up early in the morrow and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink and rose up to play. So, because Moses coming delayed from the mountain when he was talking with Yah, the people decided to take it upon themselves and start worshiping false gods. And Aaron, the leader of the pack, who should have been correcting them at that moment, he said, Give me your earrings. We're going to make some false gods for you. They made a golden calf. And he used a tool to create this image. That's a violation of the commandments. Don't put any gods before Yahweh, and don't make any graven images. They're already violating the commandments that Yah gave them in Exodus 20. All right, so let's jump down to verse 7. Yah knows what's going on with them. Verse 7. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Get thee down, for thy people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. See, the way is the way that Yahweh commanded them when he gave them his commandments. That's the way. There is no other way. It's the way that Yahweh commanded them. Let's keep going. They have made them a molten calf and worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. He said, they're over there saying that, These be thy gods, O Yashara'al, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. And Yahweh said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Stubborn, stiff-necked. You do your research and look at a group of people that are stiff-necked in today's time. Look at verse 10. Now therefore, let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and that I may consume them, and I will make of thee a great nation. So Yahweh was ready to just get rid of all of them. He said, I'm going to start over with you, Moses. I'm going to start over with you. I'm going to get rid of all of them. I'm hot. I'll make you a great nation. I'm about to kill them all because they started worshiping false gods. They started making idols. They start violating the commandments. Idolatry is no bueno. Yahweh doesn't go for that. So after that, Moses, he interceded for the children of Yashara'al. He said to Yah, in essence, Yah, don't kill off the children of Israel. Remember what you promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember what you promised them in terms of giving them the land. If you kill them right now, the people are going to say you brought them out of Egypt because of mischief to kill them. That's what they're going to say. So then Moses says to Yahweh, come on, repent of this. When he tells him to repent of this, he's saying that word repent right here. He's telling Yah, in so many words, he's saying, Yah, take a deep breath, breathe strongly. That word repent means also to breathe strongly. So he was like, Yah, take a deep breath. Don't kill them. Don't do this to them. So then Yah, it says Yah repented of doing evil to them. So Yah took a deep breath, or what the text says, he breathed strongly. So Yah took a deep breath and he said, all right, I won't do that to him. So Moses comes down and sees what they're doing, picking up at verse 19. And it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh unto the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moses' anger waxed hot, and he cast the tables out of his hands and brake them beneath the mount. So the tables that he had, he cast them. He broke those tablets. And he took the calf which they had made and burned it with fire and ground it to powder and strawed it upon the water and made the children of Yashara'al drink of it. And Moses said unto Aaron, what did this people unto thee? What did this people unto thee, that thou hast brought so great a sin upon them? See that word sin? They had idols. They violated the commandments, so they sinned. Let's keep going. And Aaron said, let not the anger of my Adonijah wax hot. Thou knowest the people. Aaron tried to blame them. Thou knowest the people, that they are set on mischief. See how Aaron tried to blame shift instead of taking accountability? For they said unto me, verse 23, for they said unto me, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what has become of him. So Aaron's saying, you know how they are. They knew that you were taking a long time. They didn't know what happened to you. So they were like, hey, let's make some gods. So let's take a look at verse 24. And I said unto them, whosoever hath any gold, let them break it off. So they gave it me. Then I cast it into the fire, and there came out this calf. And when Moses saw that the people were naked, look at this. For Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies. When you get into idolatry, you are naked. You are uncovered. because that is against Yah. It's against his commandments. Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, look it, this is where Moses draws the line. Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, who is on Yahweh's side? Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. And he said unto them, thus saith Yahweh, Elohim of Yashara'al, put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor. And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses, and there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men, for Moses had said, consecrate yourself today to Yahweh, even every man upon his son and upon his brother, that he may bestow upon you a blessing this day. Moses said, pick a side. If you are on Yahweh's side, come with me. If you're not on Yahweh's side, you stand over there. Because of the idolatry, they died. Moses said, pick a side. Are you going to obey Yah and his commandments, or are you going to go on that side and be disobedient and sin against Yah? Sin against his commandments. Idolatry was sinning against his commandments. Remember, sin is when you violate and disobey and rebel against Yah's Torah, against Yah's instructions, against Yah's law, against Yah's commandments. That's sin. Sin is the transgression of the law. Look at verse 30. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses said unto the people, see, check this out. You have sinned a great sin. Context, they built the calf. You have sinned a great sin, and now I will go up unto Yahweh. Peradventure, I shall make an atonement for your sin. And Moses returned unto Yahweh and said, all this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold. Yet now, if thou would forgive their sin, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written. And Yahweh said unto Moses, whosoever had sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. You see that? You see that? He said, whoever sinned against him, he's blotting them out of the book. Yahweh has a book. Think about in Revelation when it talks about the book of life. And their names got blotted out the book in this text because Yah said, don't put any other gods before him. Don't make any graven images. They sinned against Yahweh. That was the sin that blotted them out of the book when they committed idolatry. That was the sin that got them blotted out the book. Now let's look at one more example of picking a side. Joshua chapter 24, starting at verse 14. So make note, and we can talk about this another time. This word Joshua, in Hebrew, it's, some people say Yahusha, some people say Yahushua, some people say Yahawashai. This is where they took the Greek word Jesus, because the Messiah was a descendant of Israel, of Hebrew origin. He was not Greek. So that word Jesus derives from Joshua. And Joshua in Hebrew is Yahawashai. Some people say Yahusha. Some people say Yahushua. side note. We can talk about that another time. Joshua chapter 24, verse 14. Joshua calls the people together. He's addressing the people. He gathers them all together. And then look at verse 14. Now therefore fear Yahweh and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt. That word flood here is referring to the Nile. So Joshua is saying, your fathers worshiped false gods on the other side of the Nile and in Egypt. This is different than the word flood in Genesis 7 and 6. Let's keep going. Then he says, and serve ye Yahweh. He says, put away those false gods which were on the other side of the flood, and that your fathers also worshipped in Egypt, and serve Yahweh. And if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahweh, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, there it is again, the house, that word house also in Hebrew means family. He says, as for me and my house, just like Yahushua talked about the household, just like Micah talked about the household, he said, as for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh. And the people answered and said, Allahayim forbid that we should forsake Yahweh to serve other gods. So Joshua, in the book of Joshua, he said, you guys need to choose. So the question to you is, whose side are you on?